love the first day of school. I love it when you open up a new container of crayons and the smell that comes from it, or the sound when you open a book for the first time. I remember taking my son to school for the first time at pre-K. And when I was checking the supplies in his book bag, I was excited to feel the cold ice pack because I knew we could keep his insulin cold. I was trying to figure out, where am I going to put a sharps container in a classroom full of children? I began to wonder if I had enough carbohydrates to bring him up from a low blood sugar. You see, you can't drop off an insulin-dependent type 1 diabetic at pre-K. So I had to find a way to be with him. So I volunteered at the school. I was in the classrooms day in and day out, and what I began to find is that there were many children in various states of neurological disorganization. There were children on the ceilings. There were children crying in the corner because they couldn't read. There was a child sitting at the desk who was about to cry because he couldn't write. So I set out on a quest to fix that. We searched the globe for the most powerful and proven modalities and therapies that could change that. Along the way, we met a modality that uses sound frequencies and bone conduction to reorganize the brain. How do you get a severely autistic child to speak? First, you expose their brain to the speech and language bandwidths of a listening program that has the frequency of between 750 and 3,000 hertz. And then you ask them to speak. How do you get the high-energy friend off the ceiling? You expose their brain to a 5-day listening program that stimulates the vagus nerve and calms the autonomic nervous system. It's how we get our picky eaters to choose salmon and steak. And it's how you get a child who's been living in his own world to speak with you through his eyes. It's not only the modalities that are making the outcomes that we're seeing, it's the order in which we organize the neurological system from the bottom-up approach. I'll show you a very quick way to test for one of the basic building blocks of the central nervous system, which is reflex maturity. All you do is you simply stand and ask the individual to stand there with their feet together and their arms loosey-goosey. You're going to ask them to put their toes out to the side and to walk forwards. You're going to watch their upper body to see if it imitates the lower body. More telling is if you ask them to do this position and their arms come up like this, you are witnessing what it looks like to have a primitive retained infantile Moro reflex. We're all born with these reflexes that help us survive outside of the womb, but they're supposed to integrate by year 1. For whatever reason, they're not integrating for many of our friends. We've got 9, 10, and 11-year-olds with infantile reflex patterns. It restricts motor development and emotional development. It's that much harder to learn how to read, write, or ride a bike if your body's moving as one unit. So now that we know how to help these friends, we had to make it affordable and accessible. We did that by creating a telehealth platform. We will ship the modalities to their home, and we will train the mom and dad on how to use it so that the individuals will begin neurological organization and they can get it daily. So the most important thing that we've learned is connecting these families to the most powerful tools that are out there. We have connected families to hope. One of the most significant connections we made was with Katie at Wellness Mama, who recorded our first podcast. And since then, we've been connecting with friends across the globe.